We live in an era defined by a jarring contradiction. While we possess the most advanced technology in human history, the physical objects in our lives are failing faster than ever before. This is the paradox of progress, where a smartphone has more computing power than the Apollo moon missions, yet a modern refrigerator often dies a decade sooner than the one your grandparents owned. This isn't a coincidence or a side effect of complexity. It is a systemic recalibration of the American dream, where the entry ticket to a middle-class life now requires you to subscribe to a cycle of constant replacement. You feel a silent rage every time a plastic component snaps or a screen goes dark just days after the warranty expires. This frustration is legitimate because you are working harder than previous generations only to watch your purchasing power evaporate into products intentionally designed to fail. The nobody explains anything gap has been left wide open by traditional media and institutions that ignore the exhaustion of seeing prices rise while quality plummets. They treat your broken appliances as personal inconveniences, but in reality, they are symptoms of a total abandonment of manufacturing integrity. This cycle has a profound neurobiological impact, triggering a state of chronic economic anxiety and a reshaped relationship with the future. When nothing you own is built to last, you lose the sense of stability that once anchored the household. By moving beyond surface-level complaints, we can reveal the invisible cause and a hidden pattern that connects your malfunctioning dishwasher to global financial structures. This is not just about bad luck, it is about an anatomy of decline, where the scam is built into the very blueprints of our modern world.
The modern scam has evolved from physical wear to a digital kill switch, where structural corruption allows companies to use software updates to artificially age functioning hardware. We're witnessing a rupture in the lifespan of products that are physically fine but are rendered obsolete by code. This creates a dependency trap, where the dismantling of the right to repair movement has established a monopoly on maintenance. You are left feeling impotent, tethered to a failed model where you no longer truly own the products you pay for. You simply rent them until the manufacturer decides their time is up. Corporate incentives have shifted under the pressure of quarterly earnings, prioritizing shareholder dividends over the human impact of manufacturing durable goods. This has led to a regulatory vacuum where companies release perpetual prototypes, beta versions of physical products that treat the public as an unpaid testing ground. Technical authority has been weaponized against the consumer. Engineers are now tasked with finding the exact point where an inferior component, like a plastic gear hidden inside a metal housing, will fail. This ensures a future of instability for your wallet while guaranteeing recurring revenue for the corporation. This disposable economy is not just an environmental disaster, it is a calculated financial mechanism. By preventing repair and forcing upgrades through software, companies have created an artificial cycle of need. The digital kill switch is the ultimate tool of the modern monopoly, ensuring that the consumer can never fully escape the debt loop of replacement. When the system is built to benefit the few by sabotaging the many, the very concept of innovation becomes a mask for a more sophisticated form of exploitation. Beyond rising prices, we are currently experiencing a silent crisis known as skimpflation, the invisible inflation of quality. This is a deliberate deception where manufacturers swap high-quality ingredients and materials for cheaper, inferior alternatives without reducing the actual cost to the buyer. Global supply chain complexity is often used as a smokescreen to mask this dilution. While the branding remains premium, the reality of the product has been hollowed out, leaving the consumer with a product that is less effective, less safe, and less durable. Corporations use psychological price anchoring to keep the price tag seemingly stable while the real value of what you receive is in a state of rapid decline. This greed leads to a compromise in safety that affects the most essential goods, from the rubber compounds in your tires to the materials in baby gear. It is a macro pattern of risk shifting. The company saves pennies on production while the consumer pays the price in potential failure and reduced lifespan. The illusion of choice further complicates this, as massive monopolies own multiple brands that give the appearance of variety while delivering the same low quality across the board. This dilution of value is a form of manipulation that targets your trust. You return to a brand you have used for decades only to find it no longer performs the same way. The system relies on the fact that you are too busy or too exhausted to investigate every ingredient change or material swap. This invisible inflation ensures that even when the numbers on the price tag stay the same, you are becoming poorer with every purchase, as the products you buy provide less utility and fail sooner. The modern market has been manipulated to erase the mid-tier of quality, leaving consumers with only two extremes: disposable junk or luxury items that are often still built on the same failed models. This is the financialization of everything, where a company's value is no longer based on the quality of the goods they produce, but on the recurring revenue they can extract through subscriptions and constant replacements. The marketing of the fake premium uses impact words and high-end aesthetics to sell a feeling of quality, while the actual anatomy of the product remains cheap labor and poor materials. A contrastive analysis between the mid-20th century and today proves that this decline is a political decision, not a lack of capability. We have the technology to make a light bulb last for decades or a washing machine last for 30 years, but doing so would be a financial failure in the eyes of the current system. The system instead encourages a culture of discard, shaming the act of repair as outdated to maintain the high-speed collapse of our financial resources. This engineering of desperation ensures that the consumer has no exit from the cycle of consumption. When you try to buy better, you often find that the higher price tag only buys you more features, more sensors, more screens, and more software, all of which are additional points of failure. The core mechanical integrity remains the same as the budget version. This is the ultimate reveal. The market is no longer designed to reward quality. It is designed to reward the most efficient extraction of wealth. By destroying the middle ground of durable, mid-priced goods, the system forces everyone into a state of perpetual financial pressure. The United States has become a primary laboratory for the export of inferiority. Large corporations often test the limits of product degradation in the American market before applying the same hidden patterns globally. This is made possible by a lack of clarity in U.S. consumer protection laws, making the country a model for exploitation compared to stricter international standards. While other nations move toward circular economies and mandatory repairability scores, the U.S. system remains built to benefit the few by sacrificing product resilience for the sake of hyper-efficient, fragile global logistics. The fragility of the just-in-time model means that any disruption in the global system reveals how thin the veneer of quality actually is. The total mistrust in institutions is justified when the government and media fail to address the consequence of a world filled with unrepairable waste. To understand the depth of this, we must look at the micro-history of the light bulb conspiracy, the Phoebus cartel. This serves as a perfect economic metaphor for how monopolies have been coordinating the decline of quality for over a century to ensure perpetual demand. This global race to the bottom creates a vacuum of accountability. When a product fails, the corporation points to a distant supplier, the supplier points to a raw material shortage, and the consumer is left holding the bill. This arbitrage of quality allows companies to bypass the standards of the past by hiding behind the complexity of the present. It is a systemic decline that treats the entire planet's resources as disposable fuel for a financial model that cannot survive without constant, forced consumption. Individual advice, like plan your finances better, is an insulting conclusion to a problem that is fundamentally structural. The $500 billion scam isn't just about a broken toaster, it's about a system that requires constant pressure and consumption to avoid total collapse. We must validate your intellectual strength. You are not crazy for thinking things used to be better. They were. Understanding this macro revelation is the first step in moving beyond superficial narratives and identifying the hidden truths of the modern economy. Reclaiming value requires a shift toward communities that see beyond the superficial and support alternative models of ownership and repair. This is about building resilience in an unstable future. We must demand a real context where products serve people, not just profits. The path forward involves rejecting the culture of the discard and demanding transparency in how goods are manufactured and how long they are intended to last. This final reflection reveals a sobering truth about the future of the country. If we continue to build our economy on the foundation of intentional failure, we are not just breaking our products, we are breaking our social fabric. The necessity of demanding a new standard is not just about saving money, it is about reclaiming our time, our autonomy, and our dignity from a machine that views us as nothing more than a source of recurring revenue. The scam ends only when we stop accepting the decline as inevitable.